I'm used to a team called the Giants letting me down in San Francisco, but tomorrow it'll be a little different. New Spirit Ride Option Podcast starts now.
Welcome, everybody.
We are live.
My name is Jason Aponte.
I am Andrew Pasquini.
We're working. That's it. We're working over here. That's it. Let's go Niners.
Let's go Niners. Spirit Ride Option Podcast. Oh my goodness. It's a New Spirit Ride Option Podcast. Second episode of the week already. Second episode of the day for Jason Aponte, coming off of a state of the franchise, the hardest working man on 49ers Twitter. Jason, I'm just going to start out with football talk really quick. It is taking everything in my power to not open this podcast with just ignoring the Giants and ignoring the Cardinals and just getting into the week 5 thoughts. Because that's where my brain has gone to. I've looked at the schedule ahead. I'm like, I don't care. Let's get to the Cowboy game. 4-0, 4-0. Let's play it.
You know, I completely agree with you. 100%. The only reason that this game is important to me is because this game is personal.
Yes.
As an East Coast, literally open my window, see MetLife Stadium on certain nights when it's loud enough, can hear MetLife Stadium. If the 49ers fail me and do not eviscerate the New York Giants, I will not be able to walk the streets of Hoboken, Jersey City, Secaucus, anywhere without incredible slander. So no pressure, 49ers. I know this is just a regular football game for you guys. This feels incredibly personal. And shout out to Ed Valentine, who I did his podcast. He's basically the head honcho at the SB Nation portion of the Giants, Big Blue View. He brought me on for a podcast. You guys should absolutely check it out. But you know what kind of made me a little bit nervous about this game in terms of where Giants fans' heads are?
What?
He said, well, if you look at the schedule in the first 3 weeks and you see Dallas, Arizona, and San Francisco, you're okay with being 1-2.
Yeah.
And I was like, holy shit, man. Are you kidding me? Like, they have no pressure going into this game. They have no idea that they feel like they want to win this game. And that is a fair assessment in both ways.
I love that so much because the Niners could open their season against like the 85 Bears, the 2007 Patriots, and the 1989 49ers. And Niners Twitter would be screaming if that wasn't a 3-0 start. So I like the hey man, 1-2, as long as the one happens
in Arizona.
Good. They did lose to Arizona.
It doesn't matter how it happened. They got the win. And it really scared me because I was just like, damn.
Did we?
Wow, like you really have a grasp on this shit. Like you really do, man.
Did we pick? I mean, we floated this idea before, but did we pick the wrong team to be content creators for?
100%.
Are you trying to other fan bases have stress-free conversations where everything's not at each other's necks?
No, and that's the thing is,
oh my God,
the Giants fans right now, I think what they're upset about is in the fashion that, look, let's not beat around the bush.
Yeah.
The New York Giants, after 6 quarters of football, had a point differential of -68. They had not scored a point through 6 quarters of football. And this is how funny football is. If you score 31 in your second half, you walk away with a victory.
Yeah.
And it literally lines up with what every Giants fan was thinking. We probably lose to Dallas. We can beat Arizona. And it's no sort of style points as long as you walk out of Arizona with a victory, even if it's at the expense of a Saquon Barkley ankle.
Do you want to hear a really fun stat on that 31 points in the second half?
Yes.
So it took the Giants until their 7th quarter to score points this season, obviously getting shut out by the Cowboys and then getting shut out in the first half by the Cardinals. They have more points on the season than the Houston Texans, which you expect that. Houston has 29.
But they played 8 quarters.
Carolina has 27, but then the two that make this a little more fun. The Bengals have 27, and Jimmy Garoppolo and the Raiders have 27. So the Giants have more points than 4 teams in the NFL after not scoring the first 6 quarters of the NFL season.
That's incredible. And as usual, Andrew Pasquini with the
like
stat that blows my mind. And there's a radio bunch for the Yankees that uses a stupid line that I hate so much. Well, that's baseball, Susan. That's football, Andrew.
Yeah.
That's football, Andrew. Is the New York Giants can literally look like a high school team for 6 quarters, and in 2 quarters can show that they have more points than teams that have played 8 quarters and didn't get blown out by anywhere near.
No.
This is, again, if you looked at
No.
the stats, you would say, well, the Giants have been playing all right. Well, this team,
Yeah. If you're just going points for, not the worst.
not the worst.
Not the worst.
But if you watch the New York Giants play football, you'd be like, holy shit, man, this team stinks. And I don't know where they're going to get their points from. But I guess that's what we're here for, Andrew. Andrew, last week, I feel like you and I
Yes.
were very even-keeled when it came to the Rams.
Yeah.
We opened the show talking about Sean McVay's a good coach. Matthew Stafford's a good quarterback. Don't sleep on a game plan. And the Rams did exactly that for a half.
Yeah.
They did the best they could with the roster that they have, with the talent that they have, with the coaching that they have. And
Well, it's because they're using Puka Nacua in the exact same way as Cooper Kupp.
Oh, Jesus Christ, man. I don't even understand why that was a discussion in any way. It was so clear that Puka is in the Bobby Trees role. And Andrew's obviously making a joke because
Yes.
I've seen that floated around. Puka Nacua is not a one-of-one for Cooper Kupp. That's what kind of should make you a little bit nervous about later on in the year is Puka Nacua is Bobby Trees and Cooper Kupp is Cooper Kupp.
Yes.
Don't lie to yourself and say that Puka is filling in for Cooper Kupp because he doesn't play X. That's what I was trying to explain when I showed you where he lined up, all of those things. But I think we did a good job last week of, hey, it's a divisional game. You know how I am. Divisional games are weird.
Yes.
And Sean McVay's a really good coach, and Matthew Stafford, is a pretty good quarterback. And
He's
they have
earned
a
the
good game plan.
respect.
And they have a good game plan.
Yes.
And Raheem Morris, Sean McVay, Kyle Shanahan, they've all been on the same coaching staff at the same time. They all kind of know each other. That's the interesting part about these matchups with the Rams, right?
Yeah.
Is like the chess pieces, the chess match. Like, I know what you're thinking here, but you know what? I've evolved from here, and I'm trying to get you away from there. And that's kind of where you were, and that's kind of why that game landed that way. Andrew, I don't have similar thoughts with the New York Giants.
No.
I don't have similar thoughts with the New York Giants. I'm trying to be objective, but I want to give you the floor so you can tell me your assessment of the New York Giants before I get into the path in which the New York Giants upset the San Francisco 49ers in their home opener, if it's even possible.
So the one path that I have drawn,
okay,
and this is it.
Yep.
Is the Niners traditionally have struggled against the mobile quarterback.
Yep.
Daniel Jones pretty good at running the football.
Yep.
No Saquon Barkley is going to make give a lot more pressure to Jones running the football. The only route I have is if the Niners just absolutely cannot figure out Daniel Jones running the football. Yep. Because he's not going to beat you with the arm. And I have a lot of stats. There's a lot of numbers that I could throw out at you. But I think we know that Daniel Jones isn't exactly the greatest throwing quarterback. He doesn't have a lot of pressure or a lot of help in front of him. He's actually been sacked the second highest percent in the NFL, only behind the Bears, who are having their own issues right now. But there's no Saquon. I guess their secondary solid. They've given up one touchdown pass this season, but you have to consider
They never had to be thrown on.
They haven't really had to be thrown on until the end of the Arizona game, which might lean into the like that's why they have no interceptions or no sacks at this point in the season. But like that's the no sacks is a little concerning. Yeah, I feel like the so like that's the funny thing is the no interceptions and the no sacks thing is a bad thing, but the one touchdown allowed is just like okay, whatever. When did Dak threw the ball 13 times in week 1?
He didn't have to. That game was over when it was 17-0. When it was a fumble recovery for a touchdown and all that other stuff.
Dak threw the ball 24 times in week 1, and then last week Josh Dobbs threw the ball 31 times. So really not a high amount in 2023. It's not the highest thing. But yeah, to me, I just think the Niners defensive line is so much better than the Giants offensive line. The big issue I have with Daniel Jones right now, a lot, but the reason the Giants offense was successful, it's for 2 reasons last year. One, Saquon Barkley. He's not playing tomorrow, right? He's gone. He's taken 40% of the touches 40% of the touches for the Giants, and he has like 27% of their total yards since the start of last season. So Saquon not being there's huge. The other reason they were successful offensively is Daniel Jones didn't turn the ball over. He had an interception percentage of 1.1 last season, which was the best in the NFL.
Yep.
Through 2 games, that interception percentage is a 4.6. He has 3 interceptions on the year after only having 5 last year.
My boy's cooking. Keep cooking, Andrew. Keep cooking, Andrew. Keep cooking.
Daniel Jones doesn't scare me. This Giants defense doesn't scare me. And I guess the best way to really describe the difference between these 2 teams, if anybody needed to hear a reason, Jason Aponte, is we're talking about Barkley being gone and the Giants. What is the Giants offense going to do? We haven't even mentioned that Brandon Ayuk is a very true game time decision, but like, how much is that really going to change between these? I love Brandon Ayuk. I'm Brandon Ayuk's number 1 fan. Not saying that him being
take the night off, Brandon.
But we're talking about an offense where Saquon is gone, and now it's behind Matt Breida. Darren Waller's cool. I like Darren Waller. Darius Slayton, Isaiah Hodgins. Like not a lot of guys.
I love I'm like probably the only member of the Paris Campbell hive. Yeah,
Paris Campbell's a good name, but on the Niners side, they're missing their best receiver, and it's just like, take the night, buddy. Like Debo, McCaffrey, Kittle, like other guys are working. So, like, obviously, I don't think I needed to make it more obvious. There's a difference between the 49ers and the New York Giants, and that's just one of them.
Yeah. Look, here's your path to the New York Giants beating the San Francisco 49ers on Thursday night. Daniel Jones and Matt Breida are unstoppable with the zone read. Unstoppable. And the 49ers allow a kick return, punt return for a touchdown, and absolutely vomit on themselves offensively.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. And you see me laying out things that one of the 3 may happen, but not all 3.
Yeah.
You want to be respectful to the team that's in front of you. You want to understand that Thursday night games are weird. You want to understand that this is the NFL. And, in the NFL, they get paid on the other side.
Yes.
When I was on the Giants pod, I felt like I got hit with a smack of reality. Andrew Thomas is very good at football. He's not playing.
Mm-hmm.
Evan Neal was benched during the Arizona game for his ineffectiveness, and he went to Alabama, and he's one of their picks. The offensive line is comprised of guys who are makeshift draft picks and guys who are making their first initial start in the NFL. We felt over and over Nick Bosa, Eric Armstead, Javon Hargrave have been close. Mm-hmm. If there was a prop bet for sacks, everyone's going to go for Nick Bosa. For me, this is the Javon Hargrave coming out party to the NFL and to people that are watching. Because when I spoke on the Giants pod, Ed asked me, did you really have to sign Javon Hargrave?
Yeah.
And I said, yes. Yes, we did. 100%. Absolutely, yes, we did. And he has 1 sack on the season. He had 5 pressures on Sunday, but he is the one that's always closest to the quarterback. And now you're telling me you have an interior O-line that is now starting guys who are starting their first game in the history of the NFL. And he already dominated their first team starters as a member of the Philadelphia Eagles.
Mm-hmm.
If there was a Javon Hargrave prop bet on sacks, 2 is your over-under. Over.
Okay.
Javon Hargrave is going to go nuts in this game, and he's going to show everybody why everybody's going to be tweeting these few words after we're done with this game. Why did you let the 49ers sign Javon Hargrave?
Mm-hmm.
And Nick Bosa's going to get on the stat sheet, too. He's going to definitely have his sack as well, too. Because, oh, God, he hasn't sacked the quarterback in 2 weeks. He must not be good anymore.
Nope.
Like,
Done.
let's, But this is there's 2 players that I'm calling to have a big week this week. Javon Hargrave, George Kittle.
Okay.
I hit you on Brandon Ayuk week 1. I hit you on Deebo Samuel week 2. This is George Kittle's game in week 3. Okay. Even if Brandon Ayuk plays, I guarantee you that George Kittle walks in with a touchdown. Write it down, bookmark it, clip this, because when it happens, you won't tweet it. But I'm telling you right now, George Kittle, anytime touchdown, if you're not smashing that in any place that you are allowed to gamble or wager, is an absolute mistake.
I like the thought with the Hargrave sacks as well. I mentioned it earlier, the second highest sack percentage. They allowed 7 sacks to the Cowboys in week 1. And to me, like my lazy football take is, to me, like I think the Cowboys defense is very comparable to the Niners defense at this point. A lot of pressure up front can force turnovers in the secondary. In my brain, my simple guy math is the Cowboys intercepted Daniel Jones twice in week 1. They're the only team ahead of the San Francisco 49ers in terms of interceptions this season. They have 5. The Niners have 4. Niners have had 2 interceptions in both of their games so far. So if the Cowboys got 2 against Daniel Jones, the Niners have 2 in every game, guaranteed at least 2 interceptions. I'm feeling that they're actually going to break Daniel Jones's 5 interceptions mark from last year in this game. But yeah, I like the Hargrave pick. I'm going to stick. I know I said on Monday, Nick Bosa, he was heating up. I'm going to take him as my guy of 2 sacks or more, just because I feel like we saw him revving up against the Rams. As I said, this is the only case where I think the 3-game break or 3-day break between games is going to help Bosa because he's so much closer to that momentum. In other ways, it hurts the Niners because I have a feeling that if they played on Sunday this week, Jason, Brandon Ayuk's playing. But unfortunately, the NFL's got to get that Amazon Prime money, and now the Niners might not have one of their better players. But yeah, George Kittle feels like a good pick too because they haven't faced a lot of passing this season. We've already talked about it because they haven't had to be passed against. It's just who in this defense outside of on the front 4 really makes you nervous in terms of forcing turnovers. You got one?
I've got 2.
Got 2. Let's hear it.
It's not on the edge. Azeez Ojulari is not going to play in this game.
Yes.
Kayvon Thibodeau is an absolute ghost.
Yep.
Not worried about him. I think while I believe that Eric Armstead and Javon Hargrave are the best interior duo in the NFL, Dexter Lawrence and Leonard Williams are not far behind.
That's fair. That's fair.
And while I have no real concerns about Jake Brendel to the left side, Aaron Banks, and Trent Williams, Spencer Burford, this is your game. You gotta wake the fuck up, dude. Mm-hmm. Like, you've got to wake up. Like, you're not a 0.0 PFF grade. And I'm not getting into that because I've already talked about it all week. Yep. You're not a 0.0 pass rush grade. But Leonard Williams and Dexter Lawrence are incredible on the inside. Incredible, man. And they are the type that will disrupt any sort of inside runs that you want to run. And if you intend on dropping back 5-step drops, 7-step drops, you will find yourself in trouble trying to stop both of them.
Yeah.
Luckily for me, I don't have to necessarily worry about that because Kyle Shanahan is not finding out about Dexter Lawrence and Leonard Williams today. Like,
No.
he's just not like, oh my God, who are these guys? They'll find a way to get away from that. But those guys are disruptors. They're disruptors.
Yeah.
And that's the part that I think 49er fans, when you're looking at the Giants and you see that Saquon Barkley's not there, it's easy to say Saquon Barkley is the best player on their team.
Yes.
The best two players on their team are Leonard Williams and Dexter Lawrence. And I will not be taking further questions on that with at all with the New York Giants.
And just to give you an idea with how dominant Lawrence has been, at least in the past game, because Jason talked about the run game. The Giants haven't recorded a sack this season. Lawrence himself, though, has 4 quarterback hits. The rest of the Giants combined have 3. So he's really just been up there. And then you mentioned Williams as well against the run game. But on the flip side, Christian McCaffrey, pretty good football running the ball. I would say.
I like your shirt.
Thank you, Warriors.
Shout out to Sheet and Warriors World for sending the merch all the time.
We love it. We love it. But the Giants' run game has allowed the 5th most yards on this early season, or excuse me, 5th most yards, 273 total yards. They've allowed 100 yards in each of their first 2 games. James Conner goes off for 105. Jason, I know there's a lot of talk with Christian McCaffrey and his touches. We touched on it a little bit on Monday.
Wait, was that touch gifted to Christian McCaffrey, or should we not touch on it because it goes to Christian McCaffrey and you're worried about him in week 17?
We're gonna touch on it, but the touch is gonna go to Elijah Mitchell.
The touch actually goes to Ty Davis Price, so it doesn't bother the guys who are actually
exactly. But I can really see this being really funny because I can see this being a very heavy Christian McCaffrey workload game, especially in the first half. If the Niners obviously, I think if they blow it out, you're going to see more Elijah Mitchell. But I can really see Shanahan trying to take advantage on running maybe around the edges a little more this game with Christian McCaffrey just to take advantage of this defense. I mean, James Conner had 110 yards last week against this Giants defense. The Cowboys ran pretty well against them. I know Pollard only had 80 yards that game, but again, a lot of the offensive stats for the Cowboys in that game, I'm throwing away because they scored 40 points, but their offense didn't have to do too much. It was a weird game because the Giants blew it up. But how do you think Shanahan attacks this run defense that's kind of struggling early? And I guess give me your percentage carries between McCaffrey and the field.
The New York Giants, and I keep saying San Francisco Giants, the New York Giants gave up over 150 yards, I think, the last 2 weeks to the Dallas Cowboys, who they can run the ball, and James Conner and the Arizona Cardinals. Mm-hmm. This is absolutely a week where early on you see Christian McCaffrey, and you'll definitely see Elijah Mitchell sprinkled in here. Mm-hmm. Put me down for 7 to 10 rushes from Elijah Mitchell, which will ease everyone and calm everyone down about, oh my God, Christian McCaffrey, put him in a hyperbolic chamber. Don't let him touch grass, lay him down. They have 10 days after this game.
Yeah.
He's going to be fine. He's a grown man who plays football that they've invested in. Relax. Everybody relax. But Elijah Mitchell is definitely going to play a bunch in this game. And the reason that he is because the 49ers should be out to a lead. And this is what we talked about last week. The plan was that the 49ers were going to be out to a lead with the Los Angeles Rams. Mm-hmm. I think Kyle Shanahan was like many 49ers fans. They felt like, hey, we're going to blow these guys out. You forgot Sean McVay and those guys on the other side get paid. Mm-hmm. So for me, it was game plan specific. It was never something that's going to be. Now, look, if you want to get mad at Kyle Shanahan about Christian McCaffrey, you should start with week 1 against the Pittsburgh Steelers, because that game was over after he ran in that touchdown at the end of the half, at the start of the half. That's the game you should be mad at him about. But consider Elijah Mitchell may not be up to speed because he hasn't seen any training camp. Consider Jordan Mason isn't great in pass pro. And if he gets, beat and Brock Purdy fumbles the football, so that week 2, all you felt was Christian McCaffrey. I suspect going into this week, after John Lynch spoke about it, after Kyle Shanahan spoke about it, you'll see Elijah Mitchell. And Elijah Mitchell, regardless of what state he's in, 100%, 90%, 80%, is still going to be good enough to hold on to the football because he never fumbles and run the football. And you won't need the full arsenal of your plays against the New York Giants. You did need it on Sunday, and you didn't expect to need it on Sunday. That's the difference.
We've talked a lot about on the field stuff, Jason. Something that we haven't touched on, probably my fault as one of the co-hosts for not mentioning it. Home opener at Levi Stadium, and I don't know when's the last time? Do you think the Niners have ever had? I haven't even looked it up. When's the last time the Niners have had a home opener on a Thursday night? I know they had the Sunday night game against the Packers, which was rocking a little bit. It's always exciting to see what the crowd can bring on a home opener, especially against a team like the Giants. I mean, this could be a situation where the Niners jump out to a quick 14-0 lead, and the crowd just alone carries the momentum through, especially against this Giants team. So, Jason, how excited are you to see Levi Stadium on a TV again in the regular season? Because we saw it in the preseason, doesn't count. How excited are you to see it in the regular season?
Oh, that stadium's going to be lit. 94 throwbacks, home opener.
Gets those Giants kind of throwbacky helmets.
They're not wearing them. They're not wearing them. That is the most disappointing. Development. Giants people, if you're watching, equipment people, if you're watching, uniform people, how dare you? How fucking dare you?
I see that. Yep.
When the Niners are going to wear their 94 throwbacks, you refuse on a Thursday night football game to wear the cleanest outfit that you have, which is the white Giants jersey with the Giants logo with the line under it. That NY is stupid. It appeals to boomers. No one watched Y.A. Tittle play football. So get that shit out of here. If you were smart, if you cared about jersey aesthetics, if you cared about appealing to the mainstream, you literally could have had the best jersey aesthetic possible in this way. And you blew it. But yes, that stadium is going to be rocking. Thursday night football, I get to watch Taylor Rooks on my TV talk about my team. I get to watch Amazon football. I get to watch Richard Sherman break down this game. But that stadium's going to be lit. I think 49er fans are excited for a real reason. And I think it's kind of what Andrew alluded to early on is this feels like a stepping stone to the real test.
Yes.
Week 3 and week 4 feel like stepping stones. And 49er fans, I just want to tell you, you can look ahead. You can look ahead. You in this camera that's watching. You can look ahead. You know why you can? You're not playing on Sunday. What you can bet is the 49ers are not looking ahead. Yeah. You can look ahead. I don't want to hear that because you are looking forward to 5-0 or week 5 and you think you're going to be 4-0, that somehow is why you don't play fucking football for the 49ers. No. I just want to make sure we get this clear. You don't play for the 49ers. You can look ahead to week 5 and be excited for the game that I think is going to be game of the year, which is the Dallas Cowboys against the San Francisco 49ers. But I can guarantee you the San Francisco 49ers are not looking ahead to game 5. And the reason that you should look forward to game 5 is they aren't. And you trust your team. There's nothing wrong with being confident.
Yes.
The 49ers are going to win on Thursday. They're going to win on Thursday. And spoiler alert, we're going to pick them to win on Sunday against the Arizona Cardinals. And spoiler alert, week 5, Sunday night, we're going to pick them to win over the Dallas Cowboys. Yeah. So it's not us looking forward.
We tend to pick the Niners.
Yeah, like we tend to think that the team is going to win. Don't ever let anybody tell you the reason that your team lost was because you were looking ahead. Yeah, because you don't play football for the San Francisco 49ers. You're a fan. You get to feel how you want to feel. Feel how you want to feel.
I just Yeah, man. Like nothing against the Giants, nothing against the Cardinals.
Oh no, a lot against the
It,
Giants and a lot against the
well,
Cardinals. We don't
it's
think much
just
of you.
yeah, it's just the 49ers are a lot better. And like even if it was a I don't know, who's a like a Vikings or a Lions or a middle tier NFC team, but like it's the Dallas Cowboys in week 5. Like, what are we
Yes.
doing here?
We've been waiting
And,
for this.
and
That's
Dallas,
waiting all day for Sunday night.
that's
Shut up. Shut up. Don't start. Shut up.
you were the
Also,
one
I wanna
you
make
were the
sure
one
that
who
I'm
said
on
it
record.
first. I did.
I want to make sure that I'm record that the Monday Night Football new theme is fire. I want to make sure that I'm on
I
record for
didn't
that.
listen. I've only seen the commercial version. I didn't see the whole version because
I want to make sure. I want to make sure that
who's
anybody slandering "In the Air Tonight" that sample by Phil
who's
Collins don't know ball.
who's the guy singing?
Well, I don't care. Snoop's on it.
And when does Snoop Dogg come into play? Because this commercial just shows Snoop Dogg getting out of the car, but then he doesn't do anything, and it gets very confusing. Like, did Snoop Dogg? Snoop Dogg's just here. Like he doesn't rap.
And look, and even in a world where we consider, in the world where we consider marijuana pretty much, just a regular thing like alcohol for civilized societies.
Yes.
He's not hopping out of a van like with mad smoke
with the
or
smoke
anything
coming
like
out.
that.
Yeah. Well, that's the most unrealistic thing apart about that song is it's just not Snoop. That's not Snoop Dogg's car.
That's not Snoop. If you really wanted to get Snoop, get him hopping out of somewhere, and you're just gonna see a bunch of smoke. You don't need a smoke machine.
It doesn't. Yeah, it doesn't even have to be a real smoke. You could just put a smoke machine in there to imply it. Like not that difficult to me, man. It's Jason. I feel like we're already at the point because I just feel like this has been such a hard game to preview for me because like I feel like with the Rams it was Stafford McVay division.
Also,
Steelers.
I like what I saw in week 1 offensively on their film. I liked it because I literally have like combed through their shit and I was just like, oh, what are their concepts? And I walked through it and I was just like, oh, I'm gonna find them. There was none of that in there. It was all evolved, and I was just like, damn it, Sean McVay, you did it again. You kind of changed the shit up, and that's a great head coach, and I think that's what we're talking about.
And then with the Steelers, it was, their pass rush. The receivers are really good. You don't know much about Pickett. There's kind of these excuses built, not excuses, but reasons why, like, hey, maybe this won't be as easy as we think. As I said, Jason, I listed my one reason. You listed your one reason. There's been a hard game to talk about because it's very hard to say the Niners are better than the Giants in 17 different ways. So let's get to is it that time? Hoomst revenge game?
Oh, we got 2 of them.
We got two of them. We got John Feliciano.
That's the one.
That's the one. And then the one and the one we've talked about. And he's going to get a bunch of carries tomorrow is Matt Breida making his – is this his first game back against the Niners in Santa Clara?
Yes.
It might be. Yes. So I really like Matt Breida. That's all I got. I like Matt Breida, the 49er. He was a very fun Niner.
I think the Feliciano thing is something that we should talk about a little bit further. And I think Brad jogged like my mind a little bit when we were talking through State of the Franchise. Because after week 1, I made a statement that I said I was much more concerned with Spencer Burford than I was Colton McKivitz.
Yeah.
And then week 2 happens and Spencer Burford is hit with the 0.0 pass grade, which PFF, no.
We still disagree.
But he wasn't great. He wasn't good. He wasn't good on Sunday. But is there a world where John Feliciano has to come in and relieve Spencer Burford in a way that Daniel Brunskill did last season? Now, I want to imply that last year that idea jives a little bit better because Spencer Burford was a rookie and you didn't want to overwhelm him. And Daniel Brunskill is the greatest relief pitcher, offensive line player in the history.
There was a
of
trust there. There was a trust
100%.
there with him and Shanahan where Feliciano is new.
Well, what if there is a chance that Spencer Burford continues to struggle, especially against Dexter Lawrence, Leonard Williams, that we do see a John Feliciano game, and that would concern me much more than something that I didn't understand last season with Daniel Brunskill.
Yes. Yeah, that's fair because, I mean, Burford's the expected starter like this year. Last year, like, yes, he was the week one starter, but I feel like there was a lot of conversation at that right guard spot in terms of entering the season. And this year, it's like, this is your spot. This is your spot to lose. And I feel like that definition, I honestly, if we see Burford get pulled for Feliciano tomorrow, that's a more permanent move than a 50-50 type thing. Maybe I think that would be the likeliest scenario, because it was his spot at the start of the season, and there was, I mean, we got to go back to last year, but Burford got he almost got the D Winters, Dre Greenlaw type hype coming out of camp as the rookie. This year, as a second year guy, more expectations are there. And so maybe they do the 50-50, but I think if they're bringing Feliciano, it'd be more of a permanent basis than anything else.
Yeah, and last year, that was something I never saw. Many of us have never seen.
Yeah.
A rotation.
Yeah,
but it worked.
Mm-hmm.
But how far can we go along with the Spencer Burford thing? That's why I said again after week one, I was way more concerned with Burford being in his second full year. And why are you still struggling? Yeah. By the way, he still doesn't deserve a 0.0 pass grade. I'm not getting into it. I've ranted all week, and I've given you the reason. You should check any of the shows that I've done about why PFF's evaluation is completely off, because they don't understand scheme and all that stuff. But we are getting to week 2, and I don't like to overreact to 2 weeks of football.
Yes.
But I expect way more from a guy in his second year than Colton McKivitz, who is taking his first meaningful snaps at right tackle, regardless of how long he's been in the league, for a sustained amount of time. And I think that's what concerns me more than anything. And it's something that I will be watching over and over and over again just to make sure that I'm not tripping.
I really like how you took Hoop's revenge game and added, like, because that's something we've had for fun for a bit here, but you added very real commentary to it. So I really like that. I really appreciate it.
100%. And by the way, John Feliciano hates the Giants.
That's fair.
Like, he wants to beat their ass. He wants to beat their ass. Like, that's the thing. It's like, you know how players go to another place and they're just like, oh, I had a blast there. No. When you asked Feliciano, he was just like, hey, man, there was a lot of shit going on over there. I didn't like it. I love that. Be on my team when you got that spice against the team that's across the way.
And I was incorrect, Jason Aponte. This is the second game for Matt Breida.
The Bills?
At Levi's Stadium.
The Bills?
No.
The
Dolphins? If I give you Dolphins, we've blacked out a game. The Brian Allen game.
But Breida was on the Dolphins at that time?
9 carries, 28 yards.
Shut the hell up, man. I think because I deleted that game from my memory. Wow, way to go.
Well, I think Ryan Fitzpatrick throwing for 350 yards with a passer rating of 154.5 made it a little easier to not really pay attention.
Shut the hell up. Matt Breida was on the Dolphins and was in that 2020 game.
Yeah,
wow.
Myles Gaskins had 16 carries for 57 and a tutty, and then Breida had 9 for 28. You know who had 3 carries for 4 yards? Lynn Bowden Jr. Remember him?
Raiders legend.
And I think they traded him like 2 months after they drafted him. So yeah, apologies there. So Matt Breida has second game at Levi since the 49ers.
Incredible, Andrew Pasquini.
There you go.
Incredible, man. Incredible.
Jason, predictions. I think we're on that point.
San Francisco 49ers win this game pretty much going away. You see a lot of Elijah Mitchell in this game, and big George Kittle and Javon Hargrave games. I don't know how I can explain it any further, but if you have any way that you can bet George Kittle anytime touchdown and San Francisco 49ers money line, which they are favored by 10 last time I checked, courtesy of DraftKings Sportsbook, smash that. And this is a big George Kittle game. I think they get him involved, and whether Brandon Ayuk plays or not doesn't matter. He will be on the field just to, run some routes, but Yeah, I've got the 49ers winning this game pretty handily, unless some bullshit happens.
I'll go 35-13 49ers. Like it's just as I said, I don't like to be the homer guy where the Niners are going to beat the crap out of a team, but like the Niners are going to beat the crap out of the Giants. It's just what it is. The Giants, like I like Dable, I like Saquon Barkley, but just the level of talent they don't have at this point without Barkley, because Barkley, like he had with how good he is in that offense, he gets the McCaffrey level gravity almost where people levitate him, not because he's at the level of McCaffrey, but because that's how much better he is in the entire Giants offense. I just have a hard time seeing a Giants offense without Saquon, led by Daniel Jones, against the Niners defense doing much. So yeah, I'm gonna go 35-13. 49ers win by plenty, and it's gonna be one of those Thursday night games where you might not even have to watch the fourth quarter. And I can guarantee you this: if the Niners get out to a 21-point lead like the Cardinals did, they sure hell not going to blow it.
I'm super excited to watch a Thursday night football game in which the fourth quarter doesn't matter.
Mm-hmm.
And it will kick off my weekend in which we can all watch football and not care and just vibe. You might even be able to pay attention to your fantasy team this weekend.
I love it. We will probably break down this game on Friday, but like not having to look forward to a game on Friday anymore. Just have a nice, relaxing talking about the Niners beating the Giants on a Friday, and then just going into the weekend watching football. I'm so excited. I'm going to watch the whole Dolphins game on Sunday morning. I got my day lined up. I'm ready to go. I'm excited.
Oh, hold on. Sunday is the London game.
Is it?
Is it?
Is it?
Is that the Toy Story game?
I don't know if it's a Toy Story. Hang on. No, there is no London game this week.
No, it's next week.
Let's see. Let's Toy Story football game. October 1st. So that's next week.
Next week.
And that is going to be, I forget what game it is already. I want to say the same.
It's Jacksonville against the
somebody.
God.
Atlanta.
That's next week.
Bijan Robinson.
Well, I'm watching that in Andy's room on Disney Plus. There's no way that I am going to watch that game at 9:30 Eastern. Yeah.
So Jason Aponte can watch Falcons Jaguars on Toy Story, but Andrew watched one playoff game on Nickelodeon.
Sure. Listen to what you just said. And say it again. Say it one more time.
The Niners were also in said playoff game.
A Niners playoff game, which Andrew Pasquini has to break down and talk through. He watched on Nickelodeon.
I have to make the decision now if the Niners make the Super Bowl this year. Am I watching the Nickelodeon broadcast of the Super Bowl?
Jacksonville plays Atlanta, and I say I want to watch it in Andy's room on Disney Plus, and somehow that is the same exact thing. Chat, let me know if I'm tripping.
I would say Falcons Jaguars at Tottenham Stadium carries the same amount of weight as a divisional, or was that a wild card game? A wild card playoff game? I would say, yeah.
Against the Dallas Cowboys. Andrew Pasquini, as always. Yeah, let's just wrap this up now. Yeah, that's the best.
Jason Aponte, as always.
We don't have to leave right now.
Jason Aponte. No,
as always.
Let's go. Okay, Jason Aponte, as always.
Let's go Niners. They got this, man. Stop tripping.
Yeah, we'll see you Friday.
Welcome, everybody.
We are live.
My name is Jason Aponte.
I am Andrew Pasquini.
We're working. That's it. We're working over here. That's it. Let's go Niners.